All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? Sorry for the delay. My bad. I am Darkpool Algo, and thanks for joining me on another morning. Sorry, getting my mic set up. Morning watch list building session. Today is Friday, January 14th, 2022, and the market's going to go crazy. Do we get a big old dip recovery, or do we continue to sell off? That is the question. According to FlowTrade, the SPY is going to keep coming down. A couple things. One, I am streaming for the Bullish Bears this morning. I'm going to be streaming the Open. I'll be using my paper account. I've learned that on Fridays I have a tendency to give it all back. So until I can figure out and get completely comfortable with my chart setups and just get in a routine again, I'm going to paper trade. Mainly because I'm trying to incorporate a whole bunch of things, and I preach it, and I'm going to practice it, right? Practice what you preach. Get your shit stuff together. Oopsie, almost got banned right there. That would have been a bad one. All right, so a couple things. TTWO. I don't know who called this out, but man, they kicked butt on it. All right, one thing we did not do yesterday, and I realized it after, is that we never went over futures. And if I would have went over futures yesterday, I would have saw that we were going to pull back. I even predicted the pullback on Twitter, went over it on the briefing, all of this stuff. But guess what I didn't do? I went long. So yeah, but paper cuts only. Didn't cut off any fingers. Took some small losses. Learned a valuable lesson. Also, was listening to Simpler Trading, the elite live trading that John Carter put on. They went long on Walmart. I'm looking at the algo, going, "Why would you do that?" So maybe they know something, I don't know. But Walmart, Tesla, all down. Roblox down. Applied Materials, super choppy. If you have requests for FlowTrade, get them to me now. I'm going to do those probably sooner rather than later. I've been keeping an eye on the divergent chart setups, and there is quite a few, bunch of them. Where did they go? Whoop-dee, here we go, here we go, here we go again. So they're saying Twillo is going to monthly bottom, right? But Twillo, to me, on the 30-man, looks like it's going to hold the 8, 21, 34, 50, and the cloud. Consolidating, squeeze. They're saying monthly bottom? How is that even possible? I'm thinking this sucker rips above gets above the 200, right? Back above 165 and just rips your faces off. So it should be interesting to see. Just making sure everyone can hear me. Johnny, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, let's get into it. We have a little bit of news to go over, and mainly upgrades, downgrades, and that is cool. Here we go. Apple price target raised from Piper Sandler to 200, saying Apple's setup for 2022 success is favorable. Can you believe it? Apple's going to rip higher. What that's going to do, that upgrade should pull Apple out of its little tailspin, right? And the market will follow Apple. So I'm hoping that if we can get back up into, let me give you some, let's go to the 15-minute. All right, two things on Apple. We had a 5,200 death cross, right? We're currently down pre-market. We were coming, I think we come down and test these previous lows at 170. 171 may hold us, 170.82. If that level cracks, then we come down to the daily bottom, or previous lows at 168, right? So big old rounding top on Apple. That upgrade may help us, but we may just be in a down cycle for Apple for the next little while. And if that's the case, then the market should not like that. Okay, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this demand zone right here. Wish I had ATR in this chart. I know Apple's got a pretty decent ATR. Well, there's its ATR right there. That's what it moved in a day. Let's just make that a little tighter, shall we? All right, Apple's coming down to demand zone. Does it do demand zone bounce? Below VWAP, below point of control. Those are going to act as magnets, pulling it up. A little bit of a slingshot squeeze getting ready to happen. However, MACD cross down. Okay, that death cross yesterday, or on Wednesday, Thursday, yeah. That death cross on Wednesday. That's just, I would have saw that going into yesterday. Death. All right, we're gonna keep an eye on that. SiriusXM downgraded to underweight. JP Morgan downgraded them. Disney downgraded. Cognizant Therapies downgraded, and Corning downgraded. Lots of downgrades coming in this morning. SAP announces a share repurchase program, but more importantly, let's check out Diz. Yeah, Disney didn't like that downgrade at all. Not one bit. Wow, not at all. They are chilling at 150, 152.50, right? That's the level in the sand. If they break that level, right, you're going to see 150 and 145 incoming really quickly. Okay, big old drop coming up on Disney. If they hold this level, right, we want to look at, wow, they moved everything together. I got it. Where's my, sorry, I need a specific chart. Need my ATR chart. There we go. So what we're looking at, I want to look at Apple and Disney real quick. Make sure this is the daily. All right, so this is the daily. They got downgraded. That's AMD. Oh, AMD. All right, so Disney forming a cup and handle, right, on the daily, currently trading above the 21, above the 50. They got downgraded. They're chilling at, what was it, 153 currently, pre-market. They're chilling right at the 21-day EMA and right at the 50-day, right, well below the 50. If they can't retake the 50 today, right, then they're going to move 151, right, previous lows, 151, and then, what did I say, 140, 146, like that would be a 1, 2, 3 ATR move, right, or that would be 3 standard deviations as a downgrade. Green 10x bars, consolidating, rising, I don't know, they move $3.50 a day. FlowTrade has Disney. FlowTrade has Disney making a move back up, right? A little bit of a curling up on the algo. They've been net buying higher highs, higher lows. They did get downgraded, so they fell off the cliff, right? But they fell right into some support. So let's just draw a line, and if Disney cracks this line, then we go short. And if they, is that my line? What happened there? Let's do this. $3, 151. All right. Little demand zone right there in Disney. Okay. So if they can maintain that demand zone, we get a bounce play, move back up to point of control, or at least an initial rally to the 21. I think Disney rips to 155. If it breaks, right? If it breaks this demand zone, 152 to 152, yeah, let's just call it this. If it breaks this demand zone, then it's going to come back down and test 150 psychological level, and below 150 things get super woody on Disney. 150 is right there. This is at 150, right? This is the demand zone that I think Disney's going to play within. Something like that. But I think they're going to bounce off the 50 and might surprise people today. Little cup and handle for me. They did get downgraded. And moving on to Apple. Apple got a price target. Their price target got raised, right? They're just chilling at the 21 EMA. Possible run into earnings setting up, right? They've got earnings 2 weeks. So run into earnings 180. I've been looking at so many downside plays. I can't even see the upside anymore. It's crazy. Double bottom, rally, consolidation move yesterday. There is a demand zone for Apple running here. right? Demand zone runs to 173. 21 is at 175. What is Apple doing pre-market? All right, 168 to 170. 160. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty dang close on that. 168, 173. 168, 173. Yeah, they're just entering the bottom of a demand zone, so they can pull back all the way to 168, and I'm cool with that. That'd be a massive dip buy for Apple, though. Okay, they are negatively stacked moving averages. 8, 21, 34, 13, all that jazz is set up for them to fail. Let me just do, I got one more thing to do here. I gotta get this one thing. I didn't get a chance to get all of this set up, so I'm a little upset about it. Prep. My big old head fits right there perfectly. My big old head, as Johnny would call it, fits right there perfectly on that Squeeze Pro setting, which I'm going to have to move around for a second. 1 second. Because I want this down here. Oh, that works out even better. Perfect. All right. All right. So Apple, right? Traded down to the bottom of the zone, broke the 50. One second here. Save as a new drawings up. All right, I'm looking at the Apple 4-hour, right? Negatively stacked moving averages. They didn't hold the 50. Like I said, they can move down to this previous demand zone that they're chilling out, which is the bottom of their ATR, which is also 2 standard deviations away from the mean on the daily. We do have stacked daily moving averages are positive. Green 10x bars on the upper end. Look at this, so like red histogram all the way on the lower end. So Apple's going to pull back a little bit more. I think they come down to the bottom of their trading range, right? And they tap a double bottom. That'll give the Radiant Fire time to squeeze to set up. Good beta. They do have stacked moving averages. I don't know if they're stacked positive or negative, but they're stacked. And then we've got to run into earnings coming up. Apple has earnings 2 weeks from now, so this is a perfect setup for a rally into earnings. Going to keep an eye on it. Like I said, don't get oversold on Apple. Look for a pullback today. All right. Spent a lot of time on those two just because I wanted to get some things set up. All right. In biotech news, no news that's going to come out and help Moderna or Pfizer or any of those, which is interesting because there should have been LMDX. Never heard of this company before, right? LMDX announced the results from its ongoing testing and monitoring of variants show its antigen test detects the Omicron variant. So probably had some news on that at the beginning of the month. Consolidated, big rally gap. Don't know what company that is. I'm not going to trade it. All right. BlackRock. Ooh. Basically IWM, right? bad earnings. They missed on their earnings. Actually, they blew out on EPS, but their revenues were lower. And they remain confident in their ability to continue generating differential organic growth over long term. Raises their dividend 18%. That's pretty good. That's BlackRock, right? With everything falling off the way it is, I would rather play something I'm a little bit more familiar with. Wells Fargo. Oh, that's right. They had earnings today. Boom. Rip faces. Right? There you go. So, oh, Lord. Lord. Let's look at this. Let's look at XLF, shall we? And I want to look at it on my magic cards. All right. Financials is going to rip today. Maybe not. That's interesting. Wells Fargo came out and they had better than expected earnings per share. Their revenue is about $2 billion more than they expected, right? Total average loans $875 billion, deposits $1.47 trillion, common equity tier up ratio 11%. So they had blowout earnings, right? They've been on a rampage, right? Now, do they just start taking profits? I'm not sure, but this 4-hour chart lets me think that if it can get above, if it can take out pre-market highs, then I think Wells Fargo goes and tests 59.60, 184. Okay. So we should see, has this earnings been baked into it for the last couple of weeks, right? For this entire month. And do they get a massive pullback? It should be interesting to see. JP Morgan is another one. EPS at, that's it. There it is. That's why it's fallen off a cliff. So their EPS came in, at 333 versus 301. Q4 revenue is 2.93 billion and managed revenue of 30 billion versus 2.99. And return on equity 16 versus estimated 13.9. Provision for credit losses was net benefit of 1.3 billion. So the provision for credit losses reflect net reserve release of 1.8 billion driven by more balanced outlook due to resilience in the macroeconomic environment. Why are they falling off a cliff? That's got to be profit taking. There's got to be something going on. I mean, they had good earnings. Return on equity 16% versus 13.9. Revenue at the revenue at 2.93 billion and managed revenue at 30 billion versus 2.98. I mean, provision for net credit losses was net benefit of, okay, so here's what happened. All right, this makes sense. Watch that 50-day. If they can't hold that 50, they're going back down to the 200. So the provision for credit losses was net benefit of 1.3 billion, as provision for credit losses reflect the net reserve release of 1.8 billion, driven by more balanced outlook, which means that the Fed, I think this has to do with the Fed removing the money that they were using to help prop up banking. So XLF today will affect the market. Oh yeah. XLF is coming back down to the daily bottom. So if this 5200 doesn't hold, which is the 34 in the daily top, look for a pullback to the 4-hour mid, right? Or the 4-hour bottom, 34 EMA at 40. If XLF gets below 40.63, it's got a pretty hefty drop back down to its 50-day at 39.50. Okay, that would be a pretty strong move. Now this could be the ultimate dip buy, but I just think that there's a million other plays out there today, right? Honda Motor Company and South Korea's LG Energy plan to build a battery-making joint venture project in the U.S. that could cost as much as 4 trillion won, or nearly 3.5 billion, according to Reuters. Well, they didn't like that, so they're falling off a cliff as well. I think, is everything just taking a dump right now? Yeah, that's what I thought. Everything's just falling off a cliff, which is okay, right? I would rather we have a massive pullback pre-market and then dip buying rallies, right, at the open. You know me. I want to see the market open lows and continue up. Now, the concern is that we don't find support and we continue to fade off, right? That is the concern. With the yen being up, bonds chilling, crude falling off a cliff a little bit, which is good, and then gold kind of falling down. The last time this happened, remember the Russell rallied? So we really have to take a close look at futures. Let me get through these last little couple ones. Ford Motor Company reported year-over-year growth of 3.78. You would think that Ford would have ripped off that news, except for they're pulling back to the 4-hour mid. It's all about the 4-hour right now, right? The 4-hour kelp. Okay. Big old rally yesterday. Sold off, continued to sell off, right back to yesterday's open, right? Big old rally, right back to yesterday's open. Looking for the 4-hour 21 to hold on the 4-hour. If that breaks, we got the 34 and the daily bottom, 4-hour bottom incoming. So basically, if 24 below 24.50, we see 24. Okay, below 23.50, we come back down to 21.22. That would be a huge pullback, especially with Ford's earnings coming up soon. Okay, Domino's downgraded to equal weight from overweight at Morgan Stanley. They have to hold this 200 on the 4-hour. They've got lots of slingshot squeezes and ready aim fires getting set up to try to help prop them up, right? They are downtrending, right? They have to hold this 200. If they don't hold the 200 weekly bottom, 462 comes into play, and then there's nothing really going to hold them up above that. So if they take out the 200, they've got 462, and then previous lows at 446 before they fall off a cliff to 435, and a big old drop down to sub 300s, right? That would be huge for Domino's. I don't think that we may see it from 570 to 490. That's already made a $100 drop in the last, since the beginning of the year, okay? And then U.S. casino operators, so the Sands, MGM, and Wynn shares are all up after Macau's government announced that number of new casino operators allowed to function in the world's largest gambling hub would be limited to 6 with an operating period of up to 10 years. Current licenses of Wynn, MGM, Melco, and others are due to expire this year. The announcement puts an end to concerns that the government would change the current status quo for the number of operators in Macau. Right, that's huge news. Oh my gosh, look at that. 85 to, it's a $10 rip for Wynn. I mean, common sense tells me to look at puts for this. So that's Wynn, that's LVS, right? I wish there was a gambling ETF, right? Too bad there's not, though. Yeah, everything's going to love that news. Okay. Yeah, that's yours. Again, dude, Sam Adams, they're getting wrecked. Nice recovery. This was their last earnings. They got wrecked. They're down 7%. They cut their forward-looking 21 guidance. No, that can't be right. Sam, there we go. That's better. There we go. Wrecked. Look at this. I can't even bring my chart out far enough to show you. Okay. So, where's the beer bug? All right. So this is March of 2020. This is when the rest of the market decided it wanted to take it to dive, right? It went from $300 to almost $1,300 at high. Can you imagine being the guy that bought shares of Sam Adams at $1,300 right now? Right? There was definitely an increase in beer drinking because that's why they call it the beer bug. Do y'all understand why I call it the beer bug now? Because look at Sam Adams, right? It quadrupled, tripled, 400 to 1,400. Well, since then, They fell off a cliff. I remember this earnings here in the middle of last year, and it was this earnings, right? Massive gap down. They gap down from 950 to sub 800. I'll just call it 750. Ever since then, they've been falling off a cliff. Thought they might get a little bit of recovery coming into this year, right? However, with that earnings coming out, additional, just like big old bounce by thinking they were going to get back in, right? Imagine being the guy that bought here at 550 just to realize that another 7% after they cut their forward 21 EPS to $1 or negative $1 to $1 to $1 from $2 to $6, saying they now estimate their shipment growth for the company's products and gross margins will be below guidance primarily as a result of more aggressive wholesaler inventory reduction than expected, primarily affecting Truly. Too bad those Truly fiends. So Sam Adams, if it can't retake the 50, then it's going to come back down. It'll move quickly. All right, so here it is. The Fed's daily spoke, and raising rates in March is quite reasonable. It's misguided to say how many rate hikes will be needed. That will depend on data. Inflation is north of Fed's 2% target. The labor market is roaring except for labor force participation. Ending bond purchases earlier than planned wouldn't be worth the potential market dislocations. They don't want to raise rates while still buying bonds and expect inflation to stay high for most of this year, but it will be moderate. Could start reducing BS, buying and selling, after 1 or 2 hikes, but certainly by year end. That's the Fed. So Powell came out and he was like, we're cool. We got this. There's a little bit of effect. Bernard came out, wrecked the market. Daly's coming out, trying to calm things down, right? But I'll tell you what, this is not good. Okay. Let's get into the futures real quick. Let me just finish reading up the news. Earnings before the bell: BlackRock, Citigroup, JP Morgan, and Wells Fargo. We did not check in on Citigroup. Sorry, I apologize about that. All right, they lost to 200 on the 30. So previous highs on the way down, right? 65, 64.75. All right, let's just do it this way. They break 65.50, 64.75, 63.50, 63, and a big old drop back down to 60. Could this happen? Absolutely. Absolutely. So be jacking them, be quick. Don't be getting your hands caught in the cookie jar. All right, so there we go. Stocks are looking to rebound following a sharp decline Thursday that saw major averages close at their lows, as surging CPI and PPI prices this week and ongoing reminders by a parade of Fed speakers that interest rates will rise between 3 and 4 times this year to prevent inflation from getting much more out of control. U.S. stocks struggled on Thursday to rebound, and tech stocks faded along with healthcare and biotech as the NASDAQ tumbled 2.5%. Energy stocks have been market leaders to start 2022, along with industrials and materials amid a rotation as energy prices surge. We need to check those out. We also need to look at transportations. And so that's you guys' homework for this week, or even for today. I don't think there's a vaccine trade today. I didn't see any news coming through. I'll check the healthcare stocks in a minute, okay? In Asian markets, the Nikkei index fell 1.28%. Listen, come on, we can work it out, right? Come on, we can work this out. The Shanghai dropped nearly 1%, and the Hang Seng slipped 0.19% to 24,383. In Europe, the DAX was down roughly 100 points, and the FTSE is little changed at 7,500. So down 1.2, down 1, down 0.19, down 100 points. So Asia, global markets are down, right? So we're going to have to, it's a big old nasty candle. So if global markets are down, we have to just kind of assume that we may assimilate a little bit of that today. Very important to note, the market is closed on Monday. So if you're buying positions next week, you got to take that into consideration that it's a short week. So there's only going to be 4 days, but that theta decay is going to be way worse. Okay. Now, so from this high right here, you see this high? Right? Or excuse me, from this low to this high, this is simply a 318 pullback to previous, right? To previous demand zone. This is doji right here. Okay. If we hold the 382, which we just hit today, right, and we bounce, then we've got a healthy market correction going into the next couple of weeks. This lines up with some trend lines, right? I can throw some trend lines up here and we can say, oh, you know, we're downtrending, right? Well, we are, except for these vertical or these diagonal lines. That is our natural. It's the market mean, right? This zero line is what the market should be hovering within in a healthy state, and the purple lines are two standard deviations away from this mean. All pricing will happen, right? 65% of all transactions occur within 1 deviation. 75% all occur within 2 deviations, and 98 of all transactions occur within 3 deviations, right? So we're currently within 2. Pulled back, we held the 382 retracement, right? We're currently trading at 2 standard deviations away from the mean, right? The actual true range. And there's a regression line, that's what it's called. Okay. So what do we got going on here? Head and shoulders, possibly. Inverse head and shoulders, maybe. Just a healthy pullback to the 382, definitely. As far as the outlook for today goes, I mean, look at that. Can we get it up? Oh, I don't have any futures up. I don't have any futures up. I need to buy this dip. What? Hold on. What is wrong with me? Oh, I'm so unprepared today. Sorry, I gotta set up the machine over here. They're buying the dip, suckers. Oh man. All right. If I could, I should have bought the ES a couple of contracts. So this is what I'm looking to have happen. I'm excited. Okay, 50% didn't hold. 382. If we get one of these, right? Don't quote me on the 2-point, right? Because it could be within, a range of that. Come on. I have this touchscreen laptop. I'll tell you what, man, I've had 0 problems with Thinkorswim or any of the other tools that I use. Using it, my MacBook or I've got an iMac, the 27-inch I paid a lot of money for it. It's just not good for trading. Okay, so I may have gotten a little excited a little quick, but let's see what happens. So there's a couple of different moves that can happen here. One is this, just so that you're aware. Okay. All right, we up, down, back. Right. Please don't quote me on the exact numbers on this, but I'm showing you direction. I'm showing possibilities, okay? This is the second one. We up, we back, down. Up, back, down. I think that's fair to say. Yeah, I know. You're like, duh, dude, the market's either going to go up or it's going to go down. But looking at this move, looking at how crisply it bounced off the 382 retracement and how it's consolidating right now, I think that's going to lead us to a nice rip. This is a big old demand zone, so there's a bunch of orders sitting here, right? Why don't I have... All right, that's the ES. Looking at the NQ on the daily. All right, what was our theory? Pull back to the 382 retracement. Okay. Hold on. I told you I was... Oh, give it to me. No. Wait, don't chase. Just give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Sorry. All right, now I have future trade. All right, so like I said, just healthy pullback. My fib levels might not be 100% accurate, but this big old wiki candle right here showed me that there's a bunch of orders that just got took out. Rally up, pull back. Now, here is the move, right? I just got stopped out. Bummer. Maybe it's because I just market bought instead of actually waiting for a little bit of a correction. And so 1 second. So 382 rejection, 382 pullback it's decent, right? That's healthy, but below the 382, right? Then we've got to look at pretty serious move back down to 14,590, 14,993. Okay, those are the next two levels, right? If we break the 382 and previous lows, then we look at the tops of the other. We look left for tops. We look left for bottoms. There's a trading range right in here that we may have to hit. Ooh, the ES, I'll tell you what, there's a massive bull bear fight happening right at this level on ES. I'm going to go with, I think the bears might win it. Looking at the NQ on the 10 minute. Right, nice little healthy pullback. Okay. The last time they did this kind of manipulation, sorry. The last time they did this kind of manipulation, there was a lot of rotation into the Dow and into the Russell. All right, so this is the Dow. The Dow's taking a pretty significant hit, right? Pulling right back into, I don't even know where I brought up that demand zone. I think it's inaccurate. I think that is probably a little bit more accurate. Ooh, getting close. Oh my God, there's such a fight happening right there. Sorry. So the last time we dipped back at the end of last year, they rallied into the Dow. I don't know if the Dow's in a good situation for them to move into. I do like... I wish I could screenshot this and show you how close I got to being stopped out right there on that pullback on the ES. Yeah, so the old Russell, small caps, right? This is where they rotated into it. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing again, right? Like I said, on the daily, right, the Russell's having a pretty significant pullback. It's right into the beginning of a, like it's in a supply or demand zone. That's a pretty decent one. All right, rally up, down, boom. So either we come check the bottom of this megaphone that's forming here. So we come back down to 20,080 or lower, right? Or we bounce here, we have that inverted head and shoulders, and they rotate out of tech and large caps into small caps again, and we retake the 200 SMA on the daily. Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave these up. I'm gonna do a real quick refresh, and then we'll get into. I'm gonna show you guys a 3-minute, and then we'll get into the plays. Just really quickly, as long as the yen continues to rise, I'm not super bullish on our market. This big old move, this is a big move on TLT, the futures. If they're buying into if they're buying into bonds again, that's going to make the market go down. So real quick, because I know that y'all are like, what are you talking about? So I just bought this little dip right here on the ES. I'm looking for this move to happen, right? Pretty strong recovery so far, right? We would like to see bonds continue to sell off. We see the yen come down, maybe a little bit of a boost in crude, right? Some crude oil inventories to go up a little bit, and then for gold to continue to fall off. One thing that we haven't really covered, and I haven't figured out how to get it into this chart yet, would be Bitcoin and Ethereum. For me to do that, I'd have to add another row, and I just don't know what I'd like to put up on the top row, because I think it's pretty easy to see, right? The top row's down, the bottom row's up, bottom row down, top row up. That's the way we like to trade stocks. All right, I'll be right back. 1 second. Wow, the ES liked that dip. We've got a little bit of time, and let's see, I forgot to tell you if there's any events today. Import export prices are going to be dropping in about 20 minutes. Retail sales month over month for December, and retail sales minus autos are going to be dropping in about 15 minutes. Industrial production month over month capacity utilization, wow, at 9:15 Eastern. So maybe a quick little pop, another little pullback, and then big fat rally for the open. Okay. In my little micro futures trade, I'm up about $25 already. I only bought one contract. I think we move back up to 4634 and adjust my stop loss to 4634. And I got to go wake up the old fam to see if anybody's going to school today, because everybody's not feeling well. I'll be right back. Get your plays ready. As soon as I get back, we will get into it, okay? All right, I'm back. So NQ likes that little recovery. I don't know what that little spike in gold is all about. Interesting. All right, let's get into the plays. Let's get into the plays. The plays for the day. All right, good morning, Johnny. All right, the chart you see in front of you is the Smart Money Dark Pool and Block Trade algorithm software provided by FlowTrade. The Flow Index algorithm tracks large institutions' purchases and calculates the best value for those. We like to follow the purple line. Follow the purple line. We like to look for divergences. A divergence occurs when the flow index algo is heading in one direction and price action is heading in the other direction. In this example, Walmart has bearish divergence, meaning smart money is selling out of their positions as price is rising. We look for those divergences to play out, and it doesn't matter how long it takes, right? It could be 2 days, 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 years, right? Here we go. So with that being said, Walmart, obviously, bearish divergence, just kind of chilling at regular and dark pull highs at 145. It's got dark pull support at 144 all the way down to about 143.50. And finally, there's a regular block trade coming at 143. Breaks 143, it's going to have a nice little move back down to the downside. The algos are definitely just net selling out of this. There was a potential higher highs and higher lows up until yesterday where price action took off and smart money is like, I'm taking profit on this rally up, if that makes sense, right? If you've got billions of dollars at this level, right, you bought at this level, right, because, right, price action rallied, it starts coming down, you're like, oh, it's coming down, let's buy into it. Divergence plays out, right? A bunch of orders come in because you're buying into it. False, kind of like a false sense of hope or whatever. I know there's a word for it. Causes, overinflation as a bunch of orders are coming as it's coming down. People are getting excited, thinking that Walmart's going to rally. Smart money is smart as prices increasing. They're selling out of their positions that they bought at 143, right? They're selling at 144, 144.50. Right, 145, right? Smart money is like, I'm getting out of my positions as everybody else is chasing. Okay, so that's it. This is a good example of divergence and what smart money does. Walmart there. Okay, let's get into the plays. We've got requests for Tesla. Willow. No, yeah. I said Twillo? I thought I said TTWO. Pretty sure I said TTWO. If I didn't, my bad. Twillo, look at super divergence. And then Johnny wants to look at McDonald's, Microsoft, Disney. Yes. There we go. Twillo, right? What's happening here? Well, smart money's buying into it as price is coming down. The flow index algorithm is making a series of higher highs and higher lows, and it's currently coming up to test some previous resistance, right? Price action has formed a nice little double bottom, and what we would expect to see is we'd expect to see a wedge breakout. Let's look at our dark pool levels and our block trades for the last 5 days, and there's none, right? There's no retail or large institutional transactions. Oh, am I going to get stopped? Don't let me get stopped out. Large purchases coming in. So this is all just pretty much, small purchases, no big block trades coming in. We would look for support to hold, wedge breakout, price action to get pulled up. On the way up, we're looking at 230 as first target, followed by previous high. So 230 first target, followed by previous highs at 235. Okay. Twillo, same. Oh, I was like, wow, those two look exactly alike. It's because they are. All right, Tesseract. All right, price actions trading with the algorithm. Right. From highs, smart money is like, oh well, let's rotate our money someplace else. So they started getting out of their positions yesterday. Price action pulled back. Got dual, triple, quadruple dark level support at 1028.50. That level cracks, right, which is previous lows, we're going to come back down and test 994 and 1,000, right? Got some retail investment here, regular and dark pool levels right at 1,000. Those all came in on the 10th. Okay, this is the 10th. 9, right? 9. Let's see, 950, 951. So these two transactions occurred here, and price action rallied off of it, right? They started taking profits yesterday, right? Pull back. Okay, is this an inverted head and shoulders? Absolutely, right? It's absolutely. If we get a quick rally today, that would create a head and shoulders. So I think Tesla might get a little bit of a rally today. If not, I would be looking for downside targets at 1,000 and 965. Okay, if the algo bounces and pulls price action up like it did here, then I think we should be pretty good to go. We're getting a lot of buying pressure on the ES currently, right? Bears are trying to push it down, bulls are trying to build it up. Okay, TTWO. Well, whoever called this out, great call, right? Big gap down, price act, the algo's bought into it. Smart money bought into this really hard over the last couple days, right? We had a gap up to consolidation for the last day. All right, here, the ES is going to pop off here in a second. I'm going to move my stop up. Sorry. So the algos, so smart money was taking some profits here as this consolidation is occurring, and they're looking at trying to start buying into it again. So we had a nice little bounce at the algo at the end of the day yesterday. What we're looking at here is we're looking at a bull flag, right? Where you're looking at a possible gap up bull flag breakout, right? Now, contrarian, we've got regular blocks coming in at 154.83, 156.06 on a dark pool at 156.40. If we break 156.40, I think we fill the upside gap to 165. If we break 154-esque, right? Actually, if we break 152.83, we fill the downside gap. So it can go either way. Just keep an eye on it. I think price action I think we might get a nice little rally in the algos today. McDonald's, right? Smart money is just, that's a 1 minute. Let's get to the 15 minute. All right. So Mickey D's, right? All this bullish divergence has traded out, right? The algo was above price action, right? And at this level, price action started selling off. The algo was, they were buying this dip, right? They were buying into it. Dark pools at 260, 261, regular blocks at 261. That's our base. Those all came in on the 12th. This is when those orders occurred. We have a dark pool on the 13th at, so this is a good look at this. Let me see if I can make this bigger. All right, this is a good example, and I want you to pay attention to this. Okay, so we had this dark pool level come in at the close yesterday, right here, right? The algo was selling off. If this is a massive sell order, right, where they're like, oh, we want to get out of our positions. Well, that's not smart money. That's what I would do. I'd be like, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to sell out. Okay. They may be buying into this pullback, right? Rally, pullback, buying into it. All right. This other dark pool that came in on the 11th at the close, right here. All right, so this block's not valid, right? So if 261.40 snaps, comes back down to 261, if they don't bounce there, then we see a stronger pullback. We're going to definitely keep an eye on what the algorithm is doing today. Does it get a bounce up, or does it continue to pull price action down with it? Obviously double bottom, you know what to do with that. Okay, moving on. Let's look at, what else did you have up here, Johnny? Microsoft, Disney, Kroger, and Pfizer. There's definitely a big old fight happening at this level for the ES. Big old nasty fight. Point of control at 46, 22.75. All right. Microsoft. So I was looking at Microsoft earlier. I was wondering if anybody had any levels on it. Algo's trading with price action. Massive dark pool support, right? Massive prints coming in, right? So price action rallied up, played out its bearish, bullish divergence. Now price is trading with the algorithm. Regular blocks at 320.50, right? 319, 320.50, 318, right? These have all been traded out. We have a white line. So a white line level is when there's a regular and a dark pool print on top of each other, and I can't usually draw two lines on top of it. That's that 315 level. So that's our magnet to the upside if this bottom support holds. Dark pools at 304.80, 305.14, and 305.89. If this level holds and the algo rips off of it, I start buying into this. I think this is a good value, right? Then I would use this. I would use 315 as take profit 1, 320 as ultimate target. Disney, like I mentioned earlier, right? All this divergence had played out, right? Algo is trading with price action. They got that news. Look for the algo to bounce here for them to start buying into this dip, right? Look for, yeah, that looks like they already did it. So if Disney is becoming a value play at 152, 153, smart money is like, I'm going to buy that, right? I'm buying this low. And as we find, as Disney comes down and finds support, then they're going to start selling out as the price is rallying up. Oh, it's a nasty little pullback. Oh, news came out. Oh, why didn't I close my position? Oh, it's going to be a big old fight right here. Okay, either a bear flag is forming or the greatest dip buy ever. Let's check out Forex Factory real quick for those numbers and that news, and watch how it is affecting the market real quick. I'm going to bring this down to the 2-minute, and we'll go ahead and refresh, and you guys can get a real quick sneak peek at how retail sales came out. All right, retail sales month over month. Right, they had expected an increase in all of these. However, we got a decrease. So that's showing that money is not flowing out of people's pockets. Does it make sense? We're not selling anything. All right. That will have a definite impact on the market. So in a bad economy, June and May of 2020, retail sales are down. Nobody's spending any money. In a good economy, stimulus, June of 2020, July 2020, right? People are buying money, right? Fear and greed, or fear starts coming into play. New stimulus, February 21, April of 21, new stimulus comes in. People are starting to buy money, or starting to spend again. Okay. So with this report down, I think that we're going to get a pretty significant pullback. We may get a quick pop today, followed by a longer move. I'll be right back. I need to just go check on my kids for a second. I think I'm going to keep them home today. Give me a second. All right, yeah, everybody's just gonna stay home. Oh my gosh, I almost got stopped out one more time. Jeez Louise. We'll just move that down just a little bit more. Okay. So do y'all understand how these numbers can affect the market? So with that being said, 2, 3, like we're right at some key levels here. Meaning, if we start breaking, how am I doing on time? I'm doing all right on time. All right, so if we start taking out some of these lows, then we're going to get a bigger pullback, right? Looks like the Russell's going to be hit pretty hard. The yen's increasing, big old bond purchases came in, right? So kind of a little bit of a reversal of fortune here where there's rotation into safety, right? Bonds are safe, gold is safe, right? The market is in flux, right? It's always in a position of transition. Now, this 382 is a pretty big level. What's going on? Hold on one second, sorry. Okay. Right, is it a double bottom, right? Is it a rally? News, we're okay after that news and we get a big old rip off of that? Very possibly. Like I said, though, we have to be careful of not getting sucked into this mentality that we've been conditioned into thinking the market will always go up. Because if you started trading within the last 2 years, like I'm sure a lot of people have, you've just been conditioned that, oh, we'll recover, the market always goes up. Well, because it has, right? There's been pullbacks, there's been sell-offs, there's been events, right? But there's never been a truly downturn. Okay, I mean, we've seen glimpses of it, there's been flashes in the pan, but we've never played in a down market. 2021, we're going to get some of that. Okay, so if you're not used to buying puts, if you're not used to looking at the downside or don't know how to look at the downside, hit me up in the comments section below. I will do a video or a live stream where I can invite you all to join me and we'll do a study session. Damn, I got stopped out. All right. I'm going to give it one more attempt at buying the dip to see if it really is the dip. What? All right. Give it to me. All right. I'm trying to catch bottoms. You shouldn't be doing this. Really, literally trying to catch bottoms. But who's hitting me up? Where am I getting messages from? I need to go through this weekend and clean out my Discord. Okay, sorry. I don't know. We're at some very key, interesting levels here. Is all I'm trying to say. So, again, if y'all are interested in doing a webinar, where you can join me. I don't know if you saw the one that I did. If you've watched the channel, you saw that I asked Laz to join me on some test stuff. I've got new software where I think I can have up to like 6 or 10 people join, and we can do a group study session. Obviously, it will be recorded, so if you have any issues with being online, you can just use your phone. You don't have to necessarily use your camera, but I think it might be good for us to get together as a group and start looking at how to view a downtrending market. So there's some tips and some tricks and some tools that I can show you. For example, right? Let's look at Apple, right? If you're so used to buying calls and you don't know how to look at puts, there's a couple things you can do. You can put a dash in front of the ticker. It'll flip the charts upside down, so you're looking at it from, right? This looks really bullish, right? Double bottom rally, right? Well, this is actually a break of the 50, right? You would be like, oh, let's go long on Apple, right? 1, 2, 3, pullback play, right? Selling up Elliott wave, all of this. Well, this is upside down, right? This is very, like, I would buy this to go long, but it's a downtrend, right? So there's a couple, like, there's just little things that we can do to really try to gain an edge in a market that most of us have not used to playing, because like a lot of people haven't been trading for 10 or 20 years. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to get back to what I was doing. So we're going to look at the smart money dark pool and block trade algorithm. We're going to finish out our positions here. Like I said, on Disney is coming up to, right, well, it broke its trend line, right? So is this a longer term trend line from back here? I think that might be the case, right? So I think that's the case on Disney. We are, there's a dark pool level at 155.44. Regular block magnets to the upside. We have a little bit of divergence in that the algo's on top of price action and pointed up. The algo for the last couple of days, look at what the algo's been doing. It's been making a series of higher highs and higher lows. A little bit of a pullback is acceptable, especially if it doesn't break previous support. Treat the algorithm like you would price action, okay? What happens when price action hits a previous high? Well, it takes profit. It pulls back a little bit. Okay, so Disney, I'm kind of bullish on. It's coming into key level, key demand zone, right? We just got some key levels there. So what I want to also look at is, right, I think I'm going to go with this one here. Where's my zero line? It gives me the ups and the, whoa, that's wackadoodle. I can't get rid of that. All right, so sorry, I'm moving on. CR, lots of retail investment, right? Lots of regular block trades coming in. These are really easy to tell if they're buy or sell orders, right? Buying the dip, buying the dip, buying the dip, taking profit. Dark pools are taking profit, buying the dip, buying the dip, buying the dip. Currently consolidating in between a regular and a dark pool level, so that it's trapped between 49.50 and 50, right? Look at the algo. The algo is making that series of higher lows and higher highs, right? It did pull back. It's testing previous support, right? So if it, a little too fast for this, so watch the algo for a bounce here, continuation pull up. So however though, if we break this zone from 49.25 to 49.50, right, in Kroger, then I think we see a pretty good pullback. There's a gap that's going to need to be filled, so we definitely have to keep an eye on that. And Pfizer, the last one I wanted to look at, no block trades in Pfizer in the last 5 days, which is super interesting, right? You would think that a big company like this would have a lot of smart money playing with it. Well, it doesn't. I'm not seeing anything for the last, there's got to be some. Either that or the data in Pfizer is off. I know that the algo is having a hard time with certain tickers, and I think Pfizer might have been one of them. We will check here and see. And let's see what we got here. So I don't think it's registering. right? I think there's something off with the algorithm on Pfizer specifically. The algo is made, so it's sold off, found support, higher, low, consolidation, pullback. I think it may just be range bound. Oh, I'm gonna get stopped out again. My stop loss is like within 0.75 of the previous low, and it's right. It's gonna hit it. There's no way I'm that good. Maybe I'll give it another point. I'll just give it one more point. Maybe it's like, oh, do we want to come down and grab it? If so, it means a whole bunch of stuff, or do we reject here? Okay. All right, that's it for, let me just make sure that nobody else wants anything. Y'all are good. Did I miss anybody? Check, check. I didn't miss anybody. All right. My turn. AMD, Google. I have 10 minutes and I gotta go get prepped for streaming for the bullish bears, okay? I don't even have 10 minutes, I got 5. So I'm gonna go through these really quickly. If my stuff ever loads up. AMD, Google. Is it NVIDIA that's next? Moderna, NVIDIA. Oh, it cracked. All right, we're gonna get a pretty big pullback today. Usually I'm pretty good at futures trades in the morning. However, I guess not today. All right, here we go. AMD, downtrending algorithm, right? Flow index is selling, right? A little bit of a pull up. So AMD is coming up to some pretty key levels here. There's a dark pull at 132.75. That's probably supporting us. That block trade came in yesterday at the close. It was a bunch of buy orders. With the algo downtrending, not completely willing to bet that is a buy order since the algo is pointed down, right? And they're selling out of positions. So let's see. If they sell, they're selling for losses. So maybe some purchase orders. We do have a regular dark pool magnets at 137.50, regular blacks at 138, 139.50. Okay, so those are upside targets. If we maintain this level of support here, if we maintain that level of support. Oh, it didn't give it to me? What? There we go. $46.0750 is a line in the sand for futures. Okay. Let's see, if I was smart money and I see prices starting to come down again and I've just been trading with it the whole time, right? This divergence has played out, right? We successfully sold out of our positions here, right? Oh, we buy into a bunch, price goes up. We're selling out into them. Just keep an eye on NVIDIA or AMD. So the key level I have for AMD is at 130, 131, 132. I think that lines up with the levels I had earlier today written out. Yeah, 132 for support. Oh, it hit it clean bounce. This is gorgeous. Clean little bounce here. What is up with? Y'all can't see my chart, but I can. I'm just checking something. Okay, so AMD, if it cracks 130.50, AMD is going to come back down and test 125. So 125 puts, 133, 138 calls on AMD. I'm not giving you any key levels today, specific key levels, because I don't want to. It's Friday, and I'm notoriously have bad luck on Friday. So I'll give you some key levels, and y'all do with it what you want. All right, Google white line, right? So magnet at 2830, 2794 is dark pool levels, regular blocks at 2771. If this level holds, then I think we get a nice little bounce play. However, the algo has been net selling, and it's making lower lows and lower highs. We're currently coming up to a previous support resistance zone on Google that runs at 2750, right? I think that either we get a quick dip rally, or we get a continued pretty significant flush. Okay, I like these block levels for stair stepping on the way up, right? 111. So this came in on the 11th at the close. So this block trade right here, this block trade, this block trade right here that price action came down to and chilled at, didn't get filled because we gapped up pre-market, right? So if you get a dark pool level that comes in at the close, like, hey, here's a dark pool, like here's an order at 27.94, but price action had gapped up and opened way above it. Well, what's going to happen? Well, those orders, they're going to come down and fill those orders because that's a lot of money sitting there, right? Just like this regular block trade came in at the close at 27.71. Well, if we gap down below it and there's sell orders, right, it'll pull price action up and rally it up with it. Okay, Moderna regular block at 222.89, 210 consolidation, right? If that level cracks on Moderna, then we see 200 and 165. The algo is net selling, right? Moderna head faked me, right? Now I want it to burn. I want it to continue to fall off the face of the earth. Nvidia, rounding bottom, algo net selling. Okay, dark pool level at 265.75. That came in after the close yesterday. So if we open up below it, what will happen? Price action will come up to meet it to fill those orders. Okay. This one came at the close yesterday too, 268.73. Right. These block trades are sitting there as orders, right? So with that being said, I want to look at Roblox, and I have to run. Dang it, I'm going to be late. And SPY, nobody asked for SPY today. All right, the SPY algorithm looks like some of this divergence might be trying to get played out. If SPY breaks below 463, I think we get back down to 460, 450, 458, 460. That'll complete this divergence that has occurred here. Keep this in mind. SPY has to come down and fill this divergence, y'all. It's got to come down and fill it, right? There's a bunch of buy orders sitting right here, right? Oh, we want to buy the stock, right? Okay. And then Roblox trading with price action, just downtrending, death. It's below, like, if Roblox takes out its lows, then it doesn't have anything to help pull it back up. And so that's it. I got to run. Thanks for joining me. See, Andrew, CVS, I got you, bud. All right, so CVS, the algorithm is, looks like it might be trying to reverse a little bit here. Might be trying to reverse. Definitely channel, rally up to the top of that channel. Price action appears to be holding. Appears to be holding trend line. This is a pretty healthy pullback. So if price is selling off and the algo is buying into it, right? So if the algo continues to rise, once we hit that key level support, we should get a nice little bounce. 105.09, white lines at 105.35, 105.50, 105.75, 106 upside targets. Right, look for the breakout. Right, look for this wedge breakout because that's what's going to have to happen. Right. So as long as the algo is pulling it up, I think that this breakout will happen to the upside. If the algo was pointing down, then I would assume price would just get pulled down with it, right? Kind of like what's happening with Moderna and Roblox and Nvidia. Okay. All right. I'm out. Have a good day. Stay safe. Stay green. If you want to paper trade, paper trade. I'm going to paper trade today. I might trade some futures, but I'm going to paper trade in my large account so I can get used to this market. It doesn't hurt. You're learning a new strategy.